Hey, bless up, family. How y'all doing today? Back in here once again. Yeah, I wanted to talk about, a lot of people don't know my story or um, the story that I'm trying to tell people today. I want to wait till some people get in here because I want to see who I was in here. I want the family to see who's all in here. Let me see. Okay, family. I know it's late and some people is 9:30, 9:40, but my um, rise to fall and the redemption. This is just my story that I want to talk about. A lot of people don't know who I'm really am. They know just the Ras Cory, and my name is Corey Hill, and this is my story. Um, Way back in the gap, way back in the day, I want to give to everybody peace. This story is not to glorify the streets or to glorify anything that's running the streets. And this is to testify, you know what I mean? So, because I should have been dead, I should have been doing life in prison, you know what I mean? But the Most High, or what people call God or universe, gave me like one more chance, you know what I mean? And I'm here to tell you what really happens when you run the streets. A lot of people got their own story, but this is just my story. You know, this is my story coming from 40 something trophies and playing ball to 40 pounds of marijuana, from handcuffs to healing, from the devil's trap to a divine purpose. This is why I'm legendary. This is why I'm called a legendary Ras Cory. You know, to tell you the dreams that almost was like a lot of people had so much talent in McMinnville, Tennessee, and I had the talent. I had over 40 something trophies. I played three sports, and scouts saw me, coaches believed in me, and I was fast, smart, and just driven. But the story begins when I was in high school. And when I was in high school, my 12th grade year, it was, I got into an altercation. The guy pulled a weapon. Then I brought a weapon to school and I got caught up. That's how I got caught up. I had 4 months left in school, and that messed my ball career up. That's when I got arrested at school. The street life looked it better and it looked it quicker, you know what I mean? So the court couldn't compete with what I thought was real life at that time. I was a teenager in the 12th grade. And when I started entering in the streets, I started running with so-called friends. Some some of them are gone now. Some of them are dead, some are on drugs. I was in shootouts. Um, I did some time when I got caught. I did time. A lot of people doing long prison time, I know, and people I loved got lost in the game. You know what I mean? So I was in a trap at that time. I was robbing people. We was in like a few shootouts. You know, it was like a backdoor energy. But people tried one time in my life. The one time I robbed some people, and my mother and father come home from whatever the grocery store at one time, and somebody must told the people that I robbed was that where I lived at. So the robbers came there, hidden, tried to kill me. So they gave me one more chance. Well, we was all hooked on lace weed at the time and stuff like that. That had me stuck. It was a lot of dynamic attacks going on, and the devil had a hold on me at that time. You know what I mean? Because I would rob you, I would just do anything to get the money at that time. So at that young age, you know what I mean. Then when I become what you call a marijuana kingpin or whatever you want to call it, I started moving different. At that time, all my friends started going to prison. All my friends was doing dealing crack and stuff like that, and I started becoming a marijuana kingpin at that time. Like I said, I started moving different, but I was like low key. I was quiet and laid back. Nobody really knew what I was doing. My old head, and he was an OG, became my plug. Next thing you know, I had 40 pounds of marijuana. I lived in the school zone. At that time, I didn't care about how much time you got when you living in a school zone if you got caught with drugs at that time. So I had 40 pounds in a school zone, and I had it like coming like you was like it was like a drive through at that time, selling nicks, $3, anything. I At that time it was real pressure, you know what I mean? My Mexican neck um gave me the best bud that was in the city because I controlled all the rich white folks and the black folks, athletes. I sold marijuana to athletes. I was club owners all over the surrounding counties. Everybody came to me for you know, marijuana and shit. So you know, and I kept it real quiet at the time because all my friends was always already gone to prison. I was like the last man standing, you know, at that time. So then that's when the gangs and street politics was running around at that time too, from 93 all the way to 2001. You know what I mean? I got I used to run with Crips, Bloods, GDs, and Vice Lords and Mexicans, Brown Pride, you know what I mean? But I never claimed a flag or claimed to be with any gang. You know what I mean? I just ran with these cliques, what you call tribe back then. So I was my own gang. I was never a follower. Um, it was just me, but they whatever you want to call a thug, but that was who I really was. But at the time, that wasn't who I really was. You know what I mean? At first, I tried crack. I used to try to sell the crack. All my homies sold crack. All the people I know sold crack at the time. But that was too much competition. It was too many snakes, too many snitches. So I switched up and started selling cannabis, marijuana, and I started selling cough syrup. You know what I mean? Then what they know, what people call now purples or lean, we was already doing that like back in the early days, you know what I mean, early 90s. But what I was doing before got me famous. I mean, so I was always quiet, never flashy. I stayed always to myself. And That's why I stay out longer than most of them because I knew when this whatnot. But the fall come when it was 25 hours. I've been ducking these snakes and police and stuff for 25 years, dodging the police. Then one day, boom, you know, I never got caught selling drugs. I caught a federal fraud charge. You know what I mean? Um, that's what it was. It was a federal fraud charge. And that was when everything hit me. When I went to jail, that woke me up. You know what I mean? I said, ah, man, I'm a king in here. You know what I mean? So let me tell you something. Jail is a modern day slavery. You know what I mean? The way they treat you up in there, you feel as like you're less of a human. I did. I seen people in there loving it. You know what I mean? And I stayed to myself, read, and just I was already into the conscious movement at the time, but I had one foot in the streets and one foot into conscious. So you know what I mean. So when I got locked up, I said, man, this ain't for me. And I seen some of the hardest gangsters in there crying when they did like church ceremonies and all that shit. I seen so-called friends rock kites to the warden and set up their own friends up in there. You know what I mean? So just way they treat you, you was like less of a human. But in that darkness, I heard a voice. So that's what really got me out of there. You know, I heard a voice. It was from the Most High. He told me, "You got one more chance." You know what I mean? So that's what got me up out of there. When I got locked up, I heard a voice. I stayed to myself in there. No man wants to be in taking shower with me and none of that shit. No man wants to do that. You know what I mean? No man wants to tell you when to eat. No man wants to tell you when you gotta have a phone call. No man wants to tell you or wants to listen to any of that. So the awakening come at I, I looked around at and in that cell. One night I looked around in that cell. I said, this ain't even who I am. You know what I mean? When I watched all these people in here act like fools and shit, so I was already woke. So I said, this ain't who I am. That's the devilish lifestyle. It had to die. You know what I mean? I prayed, I fasted, I asked the creator to clean me up. You know what I mean? I wasn't born for like destruction or to be born a thug or whatnot. I was born to be a healer, a teacher, a father, a husband, a king. You know what I mean? So my redemption came in real life came years later. I got married. I started building. I found legal money through wellness, healing, knowledge, you know what I mean, divine order. I built a business, you know, and now I got things that I never had when I was doing illegal activity. I found I lived in mansions. I done had so much and I traveled three-fourths around the world and living a life I used to dream about. You know what I mean? So I did it all without crime. You know what I mean? Without poisoning my own people or not poisoning your family or without fear. You get what I'm saying? But this is only a message to the youth out there because what I went through, I was an athlete. I had a lot of opportunities to go to the pro. I had college. I had five scholarships. I had one at UT, Southern Mississippi, East Tennessee, Akron, Tennessee Tech. You know what I mean? And this goes out to all you young kings and queens. That's if y'all watching this, black, brown, yellow, red, and white. So always listen to your parents because I know when you get a certain age, you start to think that you know it all. You know what I mean? And you really don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. Listen to the voice of your ancestors really too, because they can help you. Listen to the Most High, to whatever you choose your God or whatever your source is to be, because the streets they won't save you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Many nights I stayed out there in the cold, just hustling, snow. Me and my friends, we just was out there just stuck. You know what I mean? Robbing, like I told you. And these streets won't save you. The only It'll only make you a number to the system. You're meant for greatness. As soon as you come out of your mama's womb, you're young, you're meant for greatness. Your life has a purpose. Don't like wait till you behind bars or the casket to realize it. Because most people just realize it when they go to prison, they want to change because I understand that. But you see this stuff out here, this music's no good for you. You know what I mean? To the young women out there, listen to some positive music, run the streets and shaking your ass and all that shit. That's not really where it's at. You know what I mean? Listen to what your inner voice says. Like I said, you're meant for greatness. Don't wait till you in behind jail to change your life. You know what I mean? I understand that's a good thing too, because to me, I think everybody needs to experience something one time so you'll just know what it's about. And my final words is really, you know, this is why I'm a legendary here, and it's not because I had 40 pounds of marijuana. It's not because I knew all the gang leaders. It's not because I made lots of money. It's because I made it out. I survived. You know what I mean? I Because I woke up. You get what I'm saying? It's not because all the women and the hoes out there. And now I try to help others find themselves. You know what I mean? If my story like touched you, or you can just share it, you know what I mean? If you're in the streets now, this is where you can just it's a wake up call. And if you're trying to do better, it's really not too late. Understand this. It's never too late to get out the streets for you young ones out there. That's what I'm talking about. It's a spiritual war out there. You know what I'm saying? And this is Ras Cory, and live free, still standing, still chosen, still legendary. And if you would like me to help you out on anything, you can contact me, you can email me. This is Ras Cory signing out. Subscribe to the channel. And this goes out to the young people out there. I want y'all to really know what's going on out